Did you know that some of the most vibrant African stories you hear today come with a side of controversy? What you've been told about African history is being challenged, re-examined, and brought to life, not in textbooks, but through podcasts. But who controls the narrative? It's 2019. Nwankwo Obidem, sitting in his bedroom in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, is recording the first episode of the African Folktales podcast. His equipment: a 50 USB microphone. The backdrop: Nigeria's full subsidy protests, power cuts, and the constant hum of a generator bleeding into the audio. He's retelling ancient Yoruba tales, Zulu fables, stories passed down through generations. Think why the sun and moon live in the sky than the hare and the lion. This wasn't just a hobby, it was a mission. Fast forward to 2026. Podcasts like African Folktales, Stories Mother Told, African Stories, Africa's Untold Stories, and AfriPod aren't just racking up downloads, they're battling historical amnesia. Remember Hugh Trevor Roper, the historian who sneered in 1964 that Africa had no history? These podcasts are the antidote. They are reviving the griot tradition, the West African storytellers dating back to the 13th century Mali Empire, the keepers of history before literacy took hold. The Epic of Sundiata, for example, wasn't written down for centuries, yet it was meticulously preserved. But here's where it gets complicated. These podcasts are not without their critics. Take African Folktales. In 2021, Yoruba elders in Alife, Nigeria, accused Obidem of westernizing sacred tales, of diluting the ancient power of stories like the Olodumare creation myth. His response: the Griot Council episodes, consulting directly with Ifo priests to ensure authenticity. Then there's Africa's Untold Stories. Episode, aired in 2023, dared to highlight the 1444 launch of Portuguese slave forts in Elmina, Ghana, where 235,000 Africans were captured by 1500. This inconvenient truth, often glossed over in Eurocentric history books, sparked a parliamentary debate in Ghana about renaming Elmina Castle, a place of unimaginable horror. Another example, AfriPod, launched by Michigan State University, received $2.5 million in USAID funding. Noble cause, right? But some critics argue this represents U.S. neocolonial influence, prioritizing marketable tales over politically sensitive ones, like the 1974 Portuguese-Guinea War, a conflict suppressed in Guinea-Bissau media to this day. A petition with 10,000 signatures demands African-led control and challenges the very notion of who gets to tell Africa's story. These podcasts are more than just entertainment. They are a cultural lifeline. In Nigeria, where 70% of youth live in cities, these podcasts are often the only way they hear the folktales their grandparents knew. They are connecting the dots between the 1884 Berlin Conference, which carved up Africa, and the modern conflicts that still plague the continent, like the Ethiopia-Tigray War. So, the next time you listen to one of these podcasts, remember you're not just hearing a story. You're engaging in a battle for historical truth. You're witnessing a revival of a tradition almost lost. But ask yourself, whose voice are you really hearing? And whose stories are still being silenced? It is time to make a decision. Go listen to this podcast. Not just to be entertained, but to be informed. To be challenged. To be a part of the conversation. Because the past isn't just something that happened, it's something that's being actively fought over, right now. The history of Africa is not monolithic. It is not simple. These podcasts are showing us just how complex, controversial, and vital it is to the present and the future.